So, before we get into everything, I want to make a statement that I didn't realize until I was putting together the notes for this video. And then we're going to have a little bit of discussion about the Fantastic Four reshoots, and finally, what I think that they mean, what I think might actually be coming of this, because I think we do have some hints from some rumors recently. But the thing is this. I've always been confounded at Hollywood's desire to have Fantastic Four movies. I don't know anyone of my generation, and I'm about to turn 40, that liked the Fantastic Four at all. And we had a cartoon when we were younger during the heyday of Saturday morning cartoons, and there's not anything compelling about the Fantastic Four, at least as far as I'm concerned. I've never had a lick of interest in that property. I just haven't. And I'm not saying this for virtue signaling points because I'm about to crap all over this movie. I'm saying it because I don't understand why this was seemingly the linchpin to set up the next page of the MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe epic, right? But the thing that I just realized is that I find nothing interesting in the Fantastic Four, those characters. There's very little in their rogues gallery that I like. I mean, Galactus is interesting. I like the sort of neutral bad guy role that he plays. He's just a function of the universe. But there's two things really cool about the Fantastic Four. Number one is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is not my favorite villain from the Marvel Universe. It's my favorite villain's probably Apocalypse, also. Never been done justice, but Magneto's a pretty good one. There's a lot of pretty good ones, but Doom is undeniably, in my opinion, the most interesting. The most interesting villain in the Marvel Comics universe. And they've decided to go ahead and screw that all up by making it Iron Man. Maybe. I think there's still doubt about that. But number two is this. If there's anything else cool about the Fantastic Four, anything else interesting, or just, well, I would just say cool. I would just say because no one can explain why they like the Silver Surfer. No one can tell you, oh, well, it's this reason or that reason, even though Norrin Rad has a very, very interesting backstory. I think that really it's just his look that is interesting to most people. They went ahead and screwed that up too. So there are no redeeming qualities about this movie or this property heading forward for the MCU. But I want to set this out there. In an article from that Park Place, pardon me, by Marvin Montanaro, we get the title, Fantastic Four First Steps Undergoing Reshoots Nearly 2 months before release, alarming sign of trouble for film that was supposed to save the MCU. I took just a snippet from this article. Recent set photos revealed Julia Garner filming scenes as Shala Ball, the female Silver Surfer, wearing a white cosmic patterned dress and sporting long blonde hair, notably absent any trace of her Silver Surfer form. No chrome skin, no board, no motion capture suit, just a solemn figure staring out at the shoreline. This could mean the studio is adding in flashback scenes of the female Silver Surfer late in the game. It's a striking image because it might mean Marvel is still figuring out who or what this character even is. I think the problem is a little bit different than that. Too late for reshoots? Yes. For a visual effects heavy blockbuster like Fantastic Four, reshoots this close to the release date are not typical, and they are extremely alarming. These films require months of CGI, rendering, especially with characters like Galactus, played by Ralph Ineson, and cosmic heralds like the Silver Surfer. Scenes filmed now will go straight into into the VFX pipeline under extreme time constraints. This is exactly how quality suffers, and we've seen it before from Marvel as recently as this year. And then the article goes into the examples from this year. But I thought that this was also worth throwing in. The writing team shuffle, a different subheading from the article. Let's not forget, Fantastic Four has cycled through a small army of writers, including Avatar 2's Josh Friedman, WandaVision's Cam Squires, and now Black Widow's Eric Pearson, brought in for a final polish. The only person here that I would respect a little bit, so I never saw Avatar 2, maybe I'm wrong. Everything I heard about that was that it was just as bland as the first one. WandaVision, anything to do with WandaVision, you can screw right off. That was the biggest waste of time that I have ever thrown away. WandaVision was ridiculous. I actually thought Black Widow was a decent film. I don't think that, it wasn't Iron Man. There are some, one of the videos I want to do on this channel is about the extreme irony of that film. There is a miraculous and ridiculous irony in that film, and if you watch close enough, you'll catch it. But overall, it was a serviceable movie. Now, what do these reshoots mean? I think 100% what they mean is that there is panic. I think that's the obvious thing they mean, right? The obvious thing they mean is that there is someone high enough at the Disney Corporation saying, look, you have to fix this. This is dire, that it's going to get redone. I don't know that it will get fixed. At the same time that I know what this means is that there is panic. I also believe there is 0% possibility that they are actually fixing anything, which is to say that they are actually fixing the problem with this movie. The rumor is, and spoilers territory, if you do not want spoilers for Fantastic Four, I highly doubt 12 people will see the movie. The rumor is that what happens in this film is that everything goes wrong. Galactus is going to consume Earth, and the Silver Surfer says, hey, but I have this thing with which to kill Galactus. Would you like me to use it? And Sue Storm convinces her to use it. Not the smartest man in the world, right? Sue Storm. Which, okay, fine. We'll have to see how that works out. But the smartest guy in the world, right? That's who... you have something special with that character. Are they going to keep that special thing special? It does not appear so. But Sue Storm convinces Silver Surfer, go ahead and use that thing on Galactus. And then she does. Well, here's the problem with that. You have a movie where the titular characters, the Fantastic Four, don't do anything. They do not affect the outcome. They are not necessary to the outcome. Sure, maybe Sue Storm gives a pep talk. Sure, yes, that's grand, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The titular characters, the Fantastic Four in a movie called Fantastic Four, have no role in the actual defeat of the villain. That's not great. And you can't change it, really, not after you've shot a whole movie, not after you have built everything around those scenes. What can you do? Well, there is also speculation that part of what is being done here is taking the blame off of Silver Surfer. She can't be a bad guy. She's a woman, after all. Don't you know? You can't do that. And in the film, as it stands, the Herald of Galactus, Silver Surfer, it would seem, by the way everything is explained to me, and I was not present for those showings, right? But it would seem that with that timeline that you have rumored out there for this movie, Silver Surfer is a bad guy, a bad girl, and then, hey, you want me to kill Galactus for you? That doesn't work either. So, what can you do? Well, earlier, I had mentioned that Norrin Rad had so Shala Ball, I have no idea what her backstory is. Norrin Rad, I do know his backstory. It's interesting. Well, I think I know his backstory. Let me clarify, because I would hate to put this out there and be wrong and be absolutely cocksure about it. But Galactus was going to consume his planet, and he offered himself as sacrifice to be the herald for Galactus in exchange for his planet, but now he can never go back. Something like that. Maybe Galactus went ahead and ate the planet anyway. I can't quite remember, but it's interesting. It is a sci-fi fantasy backstory for the Silver Surfer that a lot of people don't even know exists. Maybe it's similar with Shala Ball. The reshoots that we are hearing about, that we have visual evidence of, they have this actress playing Silver Surfer not in mocap, not in silver paint, not with a surfer board. If the movie's garbage, well, here's one thing you could do. You could add a little bit of Silver Surfer's background. You could. And then you could make her a very pivotal part of the movie by showing her regret in that background story, making her something of a reluctant good guy / a reluctant bad guy. She doesn't want to be doing the bad stuff, but she doesn't really think she can pull off the good guy stuff. Probably there's Harvey Weinstein implications to whoever is putting these things together in their head, right? Probably there's symbolism there for that. But if you can put in that backstory before Silver Surfer, maybe you don't have to use a whole lot of visual effects. And maybe you get a character that is salvageable. Anyway, I think it's possible they're making this Silver Surfer's movie. They're making Silver Surfer not the titular character, but the one everyone comes away from the movie interested in, or at least that's what they're trying to do. Why would I be so bold as to suggest that? Doesn't that seem sort of off the wall? Well, there are also rumors from WDW Pro / That Park Place that what is happening with Doomsday is that it was supposed to be Pedro Pascal that was the great big hero moving forward for the MCU, the Iron Man of the next phase. However, Pedro Pascal, really sort of insufferable. Pedro Pascal really kind of sucks. Pedro Pascal, I just want him to shave the mustache and I'll stop talking so much crap. But anyway, Pedro Pascal, not a go. Reports are that Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, is going to be the big face of the next phase of MCU movies. Being from Missouri, Star-Lord from Missouri, I would appreciate this move. But it suggests that Disney is semi-malleable on what they are doing moving forward. You just have to hope at some level that it works, because there's nothing stamped out. There is no success plan moving forward. It seems to be reactionary. It seems to be, hey, we'll figure this out, as opposed to, you're going to love what it is that we have to show you. That was what made, probably ironically, it was the Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the moment that everybody said, okay, we're in. Right before then, everyone kind of knew what Iron Man was. Everyone kind of knew Captain America. Everyone kind of knew Thor. So you kind of went with the punches on a lot of this stuff. And it was pretty good, so you kept going. It was Guardians of the Galaxy where everyone said, I have no idea what those characters are. I have never heard of that. What are we doing here? And James Gunn delivered. So you were in, you were sold. They don't have that cachet anymore. So the other small thing that I would note here, if they are making this Silver Surfer's movie, whether Silver Surfer dies or not in this movie, I would look for Silver Surfer to be a bigger role moving forward than Reed Richards. I don't know how salvageable this movie will be, but if you can make a cool character out of it, a Silver Surfer rise to the level of what it is that fans expect from Silver Surfer, if you can do that, you can salvage something from this movie. I'm not sure they can. I don't think they can. I am highly doubtful. That's all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.